Hey, welcome to Modern Homeschool, the podcast where families thrive together. I'm your host, Shanti Macias, and here we talk about real-life homeschooling for modern families and creating a life around your family first. Let's do this. Hey you, today's episode is quite requested in my DMs. I would say by a landslide this time of year, which is quite interesting because I only have one child. So how do you homeschool multiple kids at different ages? Listen, I'm going to give you a transparent disclaimer up front, okay? Like I said, I have one daughter. But what I bring to this conversation is my classroom teaching background. So I taught full classrooms of 20 plus kids at multiple ability levels for many, many years before we even homeschooled. That's more multi-age teaching experience than most homeschool moms ever get. And if they do, woohoo, high five to you, girl. I've also coached a lot of multi-kid homeschool moms. For today's episode, I did some research and I interviewed some of them, and I'm so excited because I pieced together what their answers were, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So today, I'm pouring all of that into one episode. Let's go. So there is a myth that I've heard that breaks multi-kid moms, okay? The myth is you need to teach all of them at the same time, in the same way, at the same table, because it's just so much easier and it's going to make your life awesome. You don't. It's physically impossible, okay? Public school teachers don't either. That's just the truth. They use small groups. And as a matter of fact, when you're teaching in a classroom, specifically kindergarten, which is the grade level that I had the most experience in teaching, the notion of small group instruction became more prominent and preferred, so much so that instead of the traditional method, which was you teach whole group lessons standing in the front lecturing the classroom for an hour, and then you break into small groups and work with each group of 3 to 4 children or 4 to 5 children at a time for 30 minutes, completely flipped. And now they're almost promoting the idea that teachers stand in front of a classroom, lecture for 15 to 30 minutes, and spend the rest of the reading or language arts or math block, which is typically between an hour and a half, you're going to spend most of that time in your small group instruction because the data shows that most children, if not all of them, tend to learn better and absorb the instruction in a more personalized way when they're getting that one-on-one interaction or the small group interaction with peers that are at a similar level to them and with the teacher. And then they're able to go to the individual stations and continue learning, putting into practice their independent work and what they've learned, right? And so realistically, they use small groups, learning stations, and then they rotate. And you can do this too. And you can do it even better because you're going to have fewer kids than a traditional public school teacher will. And you actually know your kiddos, which is awesome. So I'm going to give you a couple of strategies, okay? Strategy 1 is loop your attention. You're not teaching everybody simultaneously. You are rotating. You're going to become a rotating pro, okay? So let's say kid A does independent math. While kid A works, you're going to do one-on-one reading with kid B. Then when kid A finishes, they're going to read independently. You're going to switch to kid A for math help when kid B does independent writing. Everybody's getting focused mom time or dad time, depending on who's homeschooling, and independent work time in waves. Listen, your child needs independent work time. As much as we love to be with them, as much as they are level 5 clingers, I know this, and they love to be with mom all the time, it's not conducive to anybody. You're going to get burnt out. They're going to get worn out and anxious and frustrated, and they're going to cling to you and want to make you feel the same way that they feel, and it's just not going to work. Everybody needs independent work time, okay? It's for everyone's benefit. Trust me on that one. Most multi-kid moms try to teach everybody everything in the morning. And what happens is that by 11 a.m., sometimes it works. Sometimes they're toast. Looping changes this math and it makes it work better and more effectively. Strategy 2 is to combine or individualize. So what does that mean? You can combine across ages certain subject areas, history, science, art, music, read alouds, some field trips, y'all can do that together, nature studies, geography. You see a pattern with these subject areas. They're not the core ones, but they can be taught the same lesson to multiple age children, and you're going to get a different output expectation for each child. But the fact is that you are teaching all of them the same thing at the same time. Now, what you're going to individualize by grade is the core subjects like math, reading instruction, language arts, writing, and spelling, because this really, truly is so different for every single child and every single grade level. But you can combine for most things, like individualize for math and language arts, and you pretty much got the whole game done, which is awesome. Strategy 3 is train independent work. Remember what I said, that you're going to need it and they're going to need it too, and that it's amazing for their growth? Well, your older kids, let's say 7 or 8, they can already start doing independent work. And I'll tell you what, I tested it this year and it worked. They totally can by age 7 and 8. They just need some training, okay? So how can you do this? Well, you could start with 10-minute blocks and then gradually start building it up to 30, then 45. Don't expect them realistically to sit down for a whole hour by themselves doing their work. I mean, if they can do it, awesome. But if not, and they just really want to spend time with you, don't deprive them of that opportunity. Play with it and see what works for you. A visual checklist is also really helpful for this. You can just use a clipboard with a paper and make some boxes, and then they'll go checking off all the tasks they have to do during their independent work time. You can also give them a specific task list, not tell them, oh, do your work. I see this all the time in the playground when parents tell their kids, be nice, be nice. I'm so sorry if that's you. It's just that the children don't know what that means. We have to model it for them. We have to show them. We have to tell them what the expectation is and then explicitly tell them, I want you to do this, this, and this. You can also tell them what it doesn't look like, what it doesn't sound like, okay? Because when you model it for them and tell them explicitly what you expect, they're more likely to give you a better output. You can also set a timer for them, and if they finish early, you can reward them, however you choose. Once your older kid can do a 30 to 45-minute block of independent work, you now have the power of real one-on-one time with your younger child. It's a total game changer. Hey friend, are you thinking about homeschooling but feeling totally overwhelmed about where to even start? State laws, curriculum, learning styles, schedules. It's a lot. I've been there. That's exactly why I made the Getting Started with Homeschool guide. It's the roadmap I wish someone had handed me on day one. 12 sections walking you from finding your way all the way to your actual first week of school, curriculum picks included. No fluff, no Pinterest pressure, just the real doable plan. Head to the link in the show notes to grab your copy. Let's get back to our show. Strategy 4 is to include the littles. Babies and toddlers are gonna interrupt. That's just the way it is. It's okay. But if you build a system that absorbs interruptions instead of being broken by them, it's gonna be a much better experience. You can have a dedicated school time bin only open during school hours. A lot of people also use like morning baskets. It's your choice, but it works. You can also have a high chair with crayons and snacks near you if you want to keep the baby close to you while you're working with your olders. And then you can also have like mom's helper jobs for your preschoolers. And listen, those little sweet angel babies love to help. It is not the same as your older kids doing chores, and you know exactly what I mean. Nap time could also be your focused with your bigger kids' time. So take full advantage of your little's nap time to spend time with your older children, okay? And you can also let your toddlers do school with their own clipboard, and they could just scribble or do whatever they like. So often I see these beautiful angel babies just get on the table or get with the older kids and do school. They're coloring and they're moving manipulatives around in math and they're counting and it's like pretend play for them. But to be honest, they learn so much faster than what we think they're learning, which is awesome. You will never not get interrupted, okay? That's just life. But you can build a rhythm that survives the interruptions. Strategy 5 is the mental shift. This is probably the most important thing I'm saying today. When you have multiple kids, you are not their teacher. You're the conductor. A conductor doesn't play every single instrument. The conductor sets the rhythm, points at the right people at the right time. They know what to do. They know the expectations. And then they trust each section to do their part. When they don't do their part, they rely on the conductor to let them know what changes need to be made or fixed, okay? You set up the day. You point at the right kid at the right moment, and you hand them what they need and trust the curriculum to do its job. And you trust your kiddos too. If you walk in trying to be the teacher for every single subject, for every single kid, you're going to be burnt out by like October or November. When you walk in as a conductor, the days flow nicer. Before you know it, it'll be April or May, and you're going to look back and be so proud of not only your kiddos, but yourself, because you put in the work and it paid off. All right, really quick before we close out today's episode, I'm going to give you a sample multi-age day. So this is not the answer, it's just one example. And I usually don't like schedules because they're time-bound, but just take the hours loosely, okay? Let's say by 8 a.m., it's your family breakfast and you do a read aloud for everybody. By 8:45, more or less, you have your morning basket that includes a calendar, a piece of poetry, a song, whatever brings you together. 9:15, you have a math block. Your bigger kids are doing their independent work and you have your one-on-one time with your youngest because they're going to get tired faster and they're not going to be able to do their independent work the same way. So you're going to spend time with them first. 45 minutes later, let's say like at 10, it's snack and movement break for everybody. Then at 10:15, you're going to start your language arts block or rotation, right? You're going to do 15 to 20 minutes dedicated time with each child. However long that may take you, right? Take the times loosely. 11:30 is lunchtime. You give yourself an hour. 12:30 comes back around. You're going to do a combined subject. And you can break this up in this way too. This is brilliant. Let's say Mondays are just for history for everybody. Tuesdays can be science for everybody. Wednesdays can be art. It's going to make your routine so much more predictable and easier for planning, easier for doing. The kids are going to be so excited. Oh my gosh, today's Wednesday. I love art. It's my favorite. Yay. Then 1:30, it's quiet time or nap time for your littles and independent reading for your older kiddos. Let's say like an hour later, 2:30, it's free play, outside time, or a field trip. And that's it. You're done. You don't even have to do all these things. That was just an example to kind of get your wheels going on what kind of routine you can have with your children. Let's say that was 5-6 hours? Tons of margin. Like I said, we have a whole hour lunch. Like that is awesome. Multi-kid homeschool is a rhythm, not chaos. We are not inviting chaos to the party. All right, quick recap. Stop teaching everyone the same thing at the same time in the same place. Loop your attention. Combine most of these extracurricular subjects. Individualize your math and your reading or your language arts because those are the important ones. And then train your independent work. Train your older children with independent work. It's going to be so beneficial for you all. Build a system that absorbs the little's interruptions. And remember, you are the conductor. You are not only the teacher. That's a wrap. If this episode hit, share it with a mom who has 3 or 4 kids and loads of laundry on the couch right now. I promise, and I hope they're going to love it. Next week, Laz is back. We're going to talk about how we use AI in our homeschool. And we're so pumped because this is his zone of genius. And we're so excited to bring it to you in the next episode. And it's going to be honest and practical and balanced. So make sure you're following. See you then. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I truly love creating this space to support you on your homeschool journey. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love to connect with you. Come say hi on Instagram or TikTok, and if you know another parent who's considering homeschool or needs encouragement, share this episode with them so we can support more modern homeschool families together. Remember, homeschool doesn't have to look like school at home. It just has to work for your family. See you in the next episode.